cold goodbye, it chills me to the bone. I never thought I'd be facing this alone.
I hope you can hear me. I'm not coming back. Wait, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is James Krelborn. I worked in the surface division. Well, worked is a strong word. I could run the coffees back to the lab before they got cold, so they kept me around. Our group's task was to find the last signs of life above. There's no use in hiding it anymore. They are lying to you. This message is being sent out to the entire 7 grounds. I can tell you firsthand, our world is not dying. It is already dead. The division never intended to find anything except their pockets full and their bellies warm. The search for life was a fool's errand, I was told. Looks like I was that fool. I detected life signs somewhere up above. The journey across the surface was to be perilous. It wasn't much of a debate on who should go. So, as they watched me staring with beaded raised brows, I volunteered. After weeks of traveling, I was ready to give up. I sent a distress call to see if I could go back. They told me, "Of course you can, but the doors will be locked." So, I moved on. Eventually, I made it to where the life signs were detected. But after seeing the state of the science center, I could not imagine anything being alive in there. I had already given in to the idea that this would be my icy tomb, the cold goodbye. And then hope. Hope comes in many forms. An unbroken glass dome, the buzz of electricity, and a group of jars holding seeds in storage. Cold storage. I would laugh if my sense of humor wasn't frozen. For a moment, for just one moment, I thought of myself like the heroes of old. Upon my arrival back to the grounds, I was to be reborn into myth. In a flash, that dream died. Even in this frozen hellscape, my body temperature was warm enough to trigger the little seed, our little hope. It sprouted, it froze, it died. Hope died. Stunned, I closed my eyes. Failure. A complete failure. When I opened my eyes, they rested on something remarkable sitting across the grand hall. Time pods. Actual time pods, I thought. They couldn't still have power. Could they? What if I could change things? I tunneled right through time. I looked down to see a plant that was biting, nibbling at my ankles. I laughed at the absurdity of it all. I had no idea if I was in the past or future. I just told the computer to take me to when plants were most prevalent. This was more than I was expecting, to say the least. I could outrun the plants but not lose them. There were signs of civilization, but also signs of ruin. And in the midst of the chaos, suspended in a sunbeam, there she stood, a dream inside a nightmare. She grabbed me by the hand and led me to safety, an old greenhouse turned hidden grotto. She told me her name, Poppy. I asked her, where were all of the people? She curiously said that she didn't know what people were, and she started asking questions about me. I told her everything, about how we ruined the Earth, the 7 grounds, our mission to find life, everything. I would tell her anything. But why? Time started slipping. Minutes turned into days that turned into weeks that turned into a timeless stupor. What was she doing with the dead seed? What was happening to me? It gets hazy for me here. But from what I gather, the Surface Division followed my last known location when my signal was lost, and were here to save the planet. They just happened to run into me too. They found Poppy hovering over me, feeding me the fruit that had grown from the tiny dead seed in my pocket. They thought she was turning me into mulch. They cornered her. I felt like myself again and jumped in between her and the old men. In that moment, I realized that I loved her. She said that I was bitten by a plant and that she had saved my life. They understood, but delivered bad news nonetheless. The old men didn't know if this was the past or future, and said that they couldn't risk me staying behind and destroying their timeline. I had no choice but to go back. I told her I was leaving. She didn't take it well, so I asked her to come with me. She couldn't. She said that she was part of the living ecosystem. She depends on this world, and in turn this world depends on her. We headed back with a tote full of seeds, a tote full of hope. This was it. This was goodbye. The thought of leaving her ripped apart my senses. So I did the only rational thing I could think of, and that's be irrational. I threw the tote of seeds into the old men and pushed them into the time tunnel. I ran faster than I had ever ran. This was more important than having coffee go cold. I outran time itself to be with the woman I loved. I don't know how my decision will affect the timeline, but I've learned something, and that's to live in the present. To live each day like there is no tomorrow. So, I'm not coming back. I hope you can hear me. Tell them I'm not coming back.